Happy holidays! Welcome to the lunation situation. We are talking about the last lunation of this year, 2023. We are closing off with a full moon. How appropriate, because a full moon is all about closing the cycle, and we are having this full moon on December 27th in mainland Europe. Probably means December 26th in the US of A, and it is occurring in the sign of the Crab at 4 degrees and 57 minutes. It occurs midnight 0032 GMT, and adjust for your local time zone. Well, full moons, as I said, is a completion moment, and something is wrapping up. This is right after the Christmas days, and you might have family around, and it might be very cozy. I hope it is for you. And so some storyline is closing out here, and even though something is ending clearly with this full moon, something is coming full circle, right? Something is culminating, coming to harvest, and that calls for celebration. So, full moons are where we are often having some kind of a party and enjoying ourselves. So even though the feelings are very intense around full moons, because it is that opposition between the moon opposing the sun, still, maybe all of that intense emotions wants us to have a good party. And full moons, of course, are also all about enlightenment. The full moon is where we see the moon at its biggest and brightest. It means that the sun is shining on it at full capacity. And it means that something is being shown, highlighted, illuminated in our own lives, especially at 4 or 5 degrees of the sign of the Crab, or better known as Cancer, but I prefer not to use that word. This lunation takes us back to July 17th, when we had the new moon in the sign of the Crab. And if there were manifestations or wishes that you made around that time, July 17th, look back into your calendar and what you started back then, or what you wanted to manifest back then, and see now on December 27th, how far have you come with your goals. And July 17th was a very stressful period. There were a lot of squares, I believe a cardinal grand cross with Pluto and the nodes, and possibly Mars or Venus around that time. So that was very stressful. That was very intense. If you can remember what happened July 17th or around that date, this is where it comes to full stop and the story closes out. Either, it's coming to a halt, a stop, an end, or similarly, so it comes to an end, but that is a celebration of some kind, where maybe you're accomplishing something, maybe you're achieving something, maybe you're reaping the fruits of whatever you started 6 months ago. So this is an interesting full moon. And in the sign of the Crab, this is where Christmas should be. It's all about the home, it's all about comfort, coziness, nourishment. So, this is where we have those house parties, we eat the Christmas food, we have gatherings with friends or family, and it's bound to actually kind of be a good time, and hopefully where we feel safe and warm, enjoying the nurturing energy that the Crab energy brings all of us. It is also a very nostalgic sign. So yeah, this is where you have traditions. This is where, you're keen to be with family people or people you've known for a long time. The Crab is a sign of family lineage, of deep roots. So you know, it's likely that you want to be with people you've known for a long time and really cozy up together and celebrate life, you know, celebrate warmth and good family feelings, even if it's not family. And, you know, it's a beautiful, warm energy to really take advantage of. As it is about nostalgia, of course, here we are reflecting, we are remembering. So, you know, old stories might surface up and we might really reminiscence our childhood or, you know, family life or the good old times and all of those kind of conversations and feelings more so, because the crab is a very emotional sign, very sensitive. And so this is where a lot of people might really cry and feel good, or, you know, feel sensitive about what people are saying or doing as well. But just, you know, like, actually comes to mind, the word comes to mind, homesick, you know, and you might just really feel good about either the past or the past meeting the present. There's a sense of belonging, you know, there's a sense of softness around this full moon in the crab, because that's what crab is about. So we seek comfort, we seek safety, we seek support, and this is where you're both wanting to nurture other people and wanting to be nurtured. The crab also symbolizes the mother. So this is where maybe you'll feel a stronger bond with your mom or an important female figure in your life. Or if there is a lack of a mother figure, these feelings might bubble up around this time. This is an energy where we care a lot and we're very sentimental. And as I said, it goes all the way back to ancestry. And yet on the other flip side, you know, the crab energy can also be the energy where you could feel not at home and you can feel abandoned and not cared for. So these are topics that could also come up, because the crab is about home and family life, which isn't always jolly as we would want it to be. And so the crab energy reflects childhood trauma as well, deep emotional imprinting in the subconscious mind, which basically means unconscious behavior eventually. So, you know, even though we can want to say that this trauma didn't affect me and that was so long ago, or it wasn't even you, it was your grandma or something, and it still affects, okay, because that's how trauma works. It is even inherited, which is a very crab theme. It is passed on through your bloodline, through experiences, through energy. And often it is not only done through that, but just literal experiences in your own life, and most likely childhood if it is about the crab. So, you know, there is that seriousness as well, and that sensitivity can go both ways, right? It can be sentimental and be jolly, but it can also be kind of triggering, and you know, it's just bitter sweet. It goes both ways. As it's a full moon, it can cause some mood swings, and the crab is a very private sign and likes to retreat from time to time too. It tends to absorb a lot of emotions and feelings. It sort of feels the unsaid, and it feels a little, you know, moments in between the words, and it feels kind of what's meant with what's said or not said, right? So there's just a lot of emotional information that's coming in that needs to be processed. So, you know, it's very okay if you want to retreat once in a while and just, you know, take a breather, go to your room, or go to a space where you're alone and you know, relax a little, and then go back into whatever social occurrence is going on. And of course, this might also kind of clash a little bit with generally at parties, everybody wanting to converse and know about your life, your details, and you might not want to share that, especially with, right, nosy uncles and aunts or that kind of thing. So just be firm about your boundaries as much as you can. This is you decide how much you want to share or not, okay? And if something feels sensitive, I believe that you should say that if you're capable of it, or at least this could be a beautiful moment in time to kind of push yourself to, you know, be clear about your limits. The limits with water signs like these can be kind of limitless, or at least, you know, the boundaries can be really far from the normal, because water signs tend to be very compassionate, like the crab, very understanding, and just very wanting to see the best side of it, until, especially with the crab, there comes a certain point where you're cut off, right? And the crab's cut off game is serious, okay? It might seem like it comes out of the blue, but it has been building, right? Because the other person or whatever did not understand the boundaries or did not show respect. You know, it's time for us to learn how to protect ourselves and be compassionate with ourselves. So be more clear about our boundaries. And, you know, the crab sign is one of those places where we are tested at that. Crab is also highly intuitive. So this is where you trust your gut feeling in whatever situation you are, and to really follow that intuitional nudge to either, you know, take that certain road or not, go to that certain event or not, talk to that person or not, you know, invest your time or your energy or your emotions in this or not. So really follow your gut feeling, and I'm sure it's pretty high with a full moon in the crab. But overall, the crab is a compassionate, you know, loving, sensitive, bonding energy, and so that's quite promising for the holidays. Now, as I said, you know, it's about boundaries and respect and all that. That's very much the sun in Capricorn, by the way, which is opposite this lunation, this moon. When we look at the chart, we see, I'd say, two positive aspects immediately. And it means that, you know, a moon opposite sun is always in opposition. So that is difficult because you're being pulled into two directions, right? The moon is very sensitive and needs comfort, needs the home, and needs like nourishment and, you know, warmth. And then Capricorn is kind of cold and like serious and a little bit distant, kind of in a way opposite, right? But the similarity between the two, by the way, and that's where we meet in the middle, is the respect for tradition and family. And you know, I think they're both nostalgic, and as I said, family values. So in the middle comes that, I would say, and the Capricorn really balances out the crab pitfalls, or the problems that the crab energy can encounter, right, with that oversensitivity. So as I said, the moon is making two lovely aspects. First of all, it is making a sextile with Jupiter in Taurus, who is retrograde at 5 degrees of Taurus. A sextile is a positive aspect, 60-degree angle. It means that they are, you know, influencing each other, they're helping each other. It requires effort from us to integrate this energy, to pick up on it. There is some kind of work required. So here I do see that there's a potential for a lot of eating and maybe overeating, so be careful with that. And safety is highly on the agenda. Maybe that's also in the collective, okay? They're sort of both at 5 degrees, which tells me that this is also a theme about children or childhood or creativity or entertainment. Somehow that is high energy around this full moon as well. The problem here is not necessarily shown in this chart, but is that Jupiter touches the eclipse point, our last eclipse of this year, which happened October 28th, when we had a lunar eclipse in Taurus. So it's triggering that. Triggering a lunar eclipse in Taurus with Jupiter that makes everything bigger and can exaggerate situations is a bit tough, okay? So because it hits Taurus, this can be earthquakes, and this can be volatile events in nature or like conflicts, because Jupiter can also be about military. And I highly recommend you watching my last eclipse video on October 28th, because I go very in depth into why this 5 degrees of Taurus is so significant, and it goes back all the way to 2014. And unfortunately, a lot of the events that we encountered in, 2004. And a lot of the events that we encountered now in 2023 actually really mimic the 2004 energies. It's because the last eclipse in 2004 was just, the eclipse in Taurus, also 5 degrees in 2004, was so similar to what we experienced this year in 2023. And so, yeah, well, to point out a few things, in 2004, there was a situation of Iraq, and there was a huge tsunami and earthquakes going on, which is, the nature aspect is normal for Taurus because it rules Earth. And I point out a couple of other things in that video, but I already saw that there was an earthquake in the Philippines around that eclipse, and unfortunately the conflict in, the Middle East. And yeah, so around this time in December, I believe, there was that tsunami in Asia, Southeast Asia. So I'm not saying that something similar is going to occur, I don't know, but that is something that occurred in 2004, so there is that risk. Whatever is gonna go and happen, unfortunately, is gonna be a bit big because Jupiter is hitting that eclipse point, okay? So that's kind of like contextual astrological information, but in this chart, it is making a positive aspect to the moon. So privately, I think we're feeling good. I think we are really enjoying the festivities. We're enjoying feeling good and feeling cared for, or, feeling loved in some kind of way. Or at least internally, we're able to find that emotion somehow. It could be very indulgent because, Taurus is about the 5 senses, taste, smell, and all that, and Jupiter making it bigger. This means that we really want to taste all that great food and have wonderful smells and luxury and just everything looking good, and maybe spending a bit too much money, especially here because it's right after Christmas, actually. So we're having the Christmas sales. Careful with that, especially because Mercury's in retrograde, but that's a little later. So the other positive aspect that this moon is making is the trine to Saturn. Now this is good because it will tamper all that overindulgent energy, okay? The trine to Saturn is really easy energy flow, means it will be really there. And again, actually, this is about that boundary, you know, that I was mentioning. And Saturn wants you to tame yourself, to be mature about what you feel, to not be a crybaby, even though crying is, of course, a very good release, emotional release. But I mean, like, don't be oversensitive, right? That's what Saturn is saying. Come on, mature yourself. It's about healing, really, okay? So if there was family drama, if there was family trauma, if there was something about your childhood that's being triggered, if you're feeling alone or whatever it is, whatever feelings and emotions are bubbling up, this is a moment to heal. And, you know, as always, Saturn takes that very seriously, so it wants you to be serious about it. And it kind of relieves that tension between the sun and the moon. So Saturn is on our side here, and it's helping us out by not overdoing, not overfeeling, and maybe not even oversharing for some reason. This is also a retreating energy, so I would say before you're overwhelmed, ideally, retreat and tap into your own energy and really come from a place of a cup full, right? So that is sometimes that you just need to pull yourself away from things and have a nice meditation or a breather or a walk, you know, in the nature. And ooh, that's actually a really good one. So if you have like good Christmas meals, go for a walk after, okay? I don't care if it's dark or whatever. Even if it's rainy, you can just have an umbrella. And it not only processes the food, but there's a therapeutic element to it, right? And whatever it is, you're processing a lot of emotions during this full moon. So Saturn is helping us with that. And as I said, it's easier to say no to certain things and to kind of learn to protect yourself as well. I feel that safety is a big topic here, and, you know, obviously being able to say no and being able to express your boundaries is how you can feel more safe in your own life. And obviously, you know, the fundamental things we need as humans, shelter, food, and warmth and all that, and even social, emotional connection, okay? That's also what we need. And I guess Saturn is also upping it a notch and saying you need divine connection as well. You need spiritual connection as well. I also see, you know, I'm not a religious person, but I also see that this is where you pray over your food. And by the way, it is not a religious thing to pray for your food. I don't feel it is. It's just being very grateful. And I think maybe that is this energy of these sextiles and trines to this lunation. This is a moment to be really grateful for what you have. And if there is something you want, try to be already grateful for it before you even have it in your life, right? But I'm sure there's a lot that you can actually be very grateful for already. And you know how they say that if you're grateful for it already now, then there's more that you will become grateful for in the future. And it won't even matter because you're already so thankful for what you have. And I do believe this is a checking in point for that. But on the collective level, maybe there could be some security issues, okay? Even though these are positive angles. Because of the trigger to the eclipse and because of the nature of these energies, yeah, I think collectively there could be a security issue, okay? But personally, I don't, could also be personal, but I think if it's personal, you'll move through it easily. also, I should add that the sun is trining this Jupiter retrograde in Taurus. So, you know, sun trine Jupiter is considered, other than the conjunction to the sun, which is the most luckiest day, but this is one of next to closest to the luckiest day. So actually this full moon brings a lot of joy, upliftment, fun, humor, adventure into your life, and it could be very fortuitous in some kind of way. You know, maybe this is where you hit the lottery. I don't know. Could be. A trine from the sun to Jupiter is fortunate, is a blessing, is a kiss from the universe. So again, gratefulness, but you could also have some kind of benefit to whatever investment you made, okay? But it's also on a very simple level, also just as I said, enjoying the food you have and feeling blessed about it and being blessed with it. So by now we are 2 weeks into the Mercury retrograde, the last obviously from this year. Currently Mercury is at 25 degrees of Sag retrograde. We still have 6 days of Mercury retrograde left. It goes on till January 2nd. Meaning we start 2024 with a Mercury retrograde. Here it's still at 25 degrees of Sagittarius. This is interesting for several reasons. First of all, it is conjunct Mars. Even though these are brothers, to me it means fiery words, arguments, unnecessary like words being exchanged, irritations, and just it can bubble up really highly because it's a passionate fire sign, okay, that they're both in. So you know, this is actually debating and like philosophizing, but where it just turns into an argument for some reason. So this is like where worldviews clash and you have an argument or conflict or some kind of fight over it. So be aware of that. Don't go too far into those things. It's unnecessary. Pull yourself out of those situations. Again, Saturn, okay? Tame yourself. Pull yourself out. It's not personal, and there's no need for escalations like that, right? So if you know this, you can be mature about it. And this is what I mean with astrological awareness, right? Because if you hadn't known this, maybe you would have gone into that argument head on and like an hour later realize that you're just like bickering and fighting over things that aren't important, right? It's not why you gathered. It's not why you know, are having not fun, you know? So but now that you have astrological awareness, you can just be like, I don't know, Bob, I love you, and let's not continue this conversation. Like, I respect your views. These are mine, you know, let's continue and talk about something else, whatever, right? Obviously, this can also be collective where things can fire up, fuel up. So be careful of that. This is very explosive words, okay? So, yeah, explosive communication that one might want to be wary of. It is also squaring a tough, conflictuous aspect to Neptune, who is direct in Pisces, 25 degrees exact. And it means that also your words are totally lost. You're lost in translation. Nobody understands the other person. You're talking for 20 minutes and nobody knows what it's even about anymore. Like, because Neptune brings in unclarity, also brings in, you know, kind of misinformation, lies, and like you could be deceived. So don't go into any online schemes or anything like that. Be wary of them. If something sounds too good, it probably is. Trust your gut feeling with those things. Okay, on the collective, this aspect is a religious problem, a fundamentalist issue, or anything like that could really escalate, okay? And firearms might be involved with this, weaponry, okay? So that's not great. But as I said, that's a safety topic that comes with this full moon. It's not always only jolly. I do feel personally it's nicer, but collectively this is an escalation of something and of some conflict, okay? And it might be religious based. And personally, this is not where you want to talk about religion with your family members or friends or whatever, or at least be wary of it. Perspectives might clash, opinions might clash, and it's just very likely, okay? But Mercury is retrograde, so this is a moment where you check in with yourself and you ask yourself what you believe in and what you want to imagine for yourself and the collective. It's of course close to the New Year celebrations, so what do you want to imagine for this new year, and how can you be responsible for your views, for your vision, for your perspectives? How can you adjust them, incorporate new information into them, and reflect upon, how you do things in your life and how that's based on your beliefs. And actually, that's very much related to childhood, which is represented by this moon, okay? So it's also actually about really deep subconscious processing, but it won't feel comfortable. It will be challenging and triggering, okay? So there is that in the background. Mercury retrograde is approaching the galactic center, which is the black hole of our Milky Way galaxy. So just before this full moon, you could really tap into cosmic information, and it could be like downloads or insights or ideas, epiphanies you suddenly have that you need to incorporate into your worldviews, into your perspective, and how that changes your whole outlook, okay? And how that changes your motivation and goals, and how that defines your connection to the divine more. With this full moon in the sign of the Crab, it is a-okay to soothe yourself, to find comfort, to do what feels good, okay? And really enjoy your life, really be grateful, really express your love to those around you. And I hope this is a comforting, warm, and safe full moon for you, just like the crab would promise us. And it, with the sextile to Jupiter, it just is very promising that it is joyful and that you can crack some laughter here and there, and that would be so good for all of us. So enjoy this full moon, and it also means we're wrapping up 2023. I hope you had a good year, and I wish you a wonderful, beautiful new year in 2024 to be ready for what is to come. I've made and created a beautiful in-depth course of all the important astrological transits, okay? So you are ready with the information, you are aware. This is how you can use and, you know, these energies for your own benefit and the benefit of others, how you can change and alchemize the frequencies. So remember, information is power, knowledge is power. So if you want to learn more with me, please join me for the Astrology Course of 2024. Here follows a little trailer, and hopefully see you in that. Other than that, this was the Lunation Situation for 2023. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing. I really appreciate you. I'm very grateful for the support. And I just wish you a beautiful, lovely new year. So I've created 8 insightful videos on all that's occurring in 2024 astrologically. This is a trailer of what you can expect in the course. Eclipses are very exciting times. Neptune and anything related to the Pisces sign. Not only is 29 degrees a critical degree, and it means that a cycle is completed. We experience the last breakdown of these Capricornian systems. Pluto will make it a bit of a brutal and rough awakening, but we will all be shaken, awoke, and we will all see the darker aspects of everything, of everything, but especially technology, and perhaps the darker side of humanity, or what has been done to humanity. Find ways of honoring these energies in a more frequent manner, ideally in a daily practice, where you start to become more in tune with yourself. So fire signs energy is very important, meaning it's a very passionate year and also a very heated year probably.